All right. You Gucci?
I'm so Gucci.
He's so Gucci. He's so ready, and so am I for episode 130 of the GGG Podcast. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us. As always, I am Paul, and I am joined by Phil. We're here to talk about video games and the video game industry and all of the latest news this week. If you haven't already liked and subscribed to our podcast, please do so on our YouTube channel. And if you're listening to the audio-only version on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, you can follow us over there as well. Phil, I'm excited. We got some good news this week. But before we get into it, what have you been up to? Have you been playing your usual things? I know we played some Grain Rot together, so we got to talk about that.
Yeah. Honestly, this week I've played a lot of Grain Rot, a little bit more of Assassin's Creed Black Flag, and I think that's pretty much it. I haven't had actually a little bit more Sol Sesto, which is a pretty fun roguelike, kind of learning the ropes there. But besides that, honestly, just so much Grain Rot, and I feel like the game just keeps getting deeper, much like the layers of dungeon underneath the house. What have you been playing, Paul?
Well, I played some Grain Rot with you, which was really fun. I think it's like the best, we'll talk about it a little bit more, but it's like the best version of, Lethal Company and Repo. And so I'm very excited about that. But yeah, a lot of Black Flag. There's something with that game that has just been hitting for me, and I really, really like it. It doesn't feel as overwhelming as like newer Assassin's Creed games, where it's just like this giant map where I'm never going to get things done. And I think that's because there's ocean and there's big gaps of like traveling, but that doesn't get boring, unlike Skull and Bones, where that's all you're able to do. And so I've really been jamming with it. Really been liking it. Anytime I have a spare moment, I'm like, I could play like 20 minutes of Black Flag real quick. So I've been playing that. And then this last weekend, I had a big group of friends get together and we all played a Big Walk, which was pretty fun. It was pretty fun. It definitely felt like the marquee feature of it is the voice chat. So like where the proximity chat is like super, super detailed. In that if you are not next to someone, you cannot hear what they're saying. And even if they're like walking ahead of you and talking, it's like you can like hear that they're talking, but you can't understand exactly what they're saying, just like on a real hike or anything like that. And so it's much more difficult to communicate than on Peak, even though Peak has proximity chat as well. But I like all the puzzles, but it definitely got to a certain point. I think we were playing for like 2.5 hours where I was kind of like, all right, I'm kind of zoning out. I don't know what to do. So I think it's definitely a daytime game, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, people have
stay
energy.
up game, not a late night game. No, yeah. I'm with you there. I like that. That is pretty cool to hear about it. It's not something I've heard about it, but it also does seem a little bit like in those types of sort of what I lovingly call friend slop games, which is games that are meant to be played with your friends and like aren't exorbitantly deep.
Right. Yes.
That is, I think the nature of it being kind of an open world does seem a little like I've kind of wondered how they're doing that magic trick. But it seems like maybe there might be times where you just sort of lose the direction.
Yeah, definitely.
That makes some sense.
And because like anytime you get split up from your group, it's like, well, the direction is you have to connect with them again and you have to find them. And so it's like, if you don't have people who are very organized, and who are very like, I would say like really good D&D players, who want to focus on communicating and organizing, it can be a little difficult, shall we say. So, but I'm kind of surprised by how well it's doing on reviews, to be honest. People are like calling it Game of the Year, and I like the game, but I wouldn't go so far as to call it Game of the Year. It's like, I think you just have a good group of friends and you like hanging out with them. So
that might be, yeah. Way to rub that in, everyone. You got good friends who like to hang out with you. Fun, nice.
But yeah, I've played a little bit of Frostpunk as well, sprinkled in there. Been playing some Fortnite as well, sprinkled in there. Just little bits here and there. Played some finals. They have a new space season.
Okay.
But yeah, that's pretty much been it. Pretty much been it.
Nice,
All right.
nice.
Well, let's get into the major game releases. We were talking about it before. Grain Rot. It technically came out last Friday, but we didn't mention it on our game releases, so we want to make sure we're mentioning it this week. Yeah, like Phil and I played, we had a really good time. I like that it's more about like fighting and upgrading. To me, that helps me stay focused on collecting things a little bit more than like a game like Repo or Lethal Company, where it's like, oh, well,
Hmm.
I can get like an item that does
Hmm.
this very specific thing in this very specific circumstance. This game feels more like, well, you want to upgrade to get passive stats buffed, and then this is a weapon that will actually kill something. Yeah, so that was
Yeah,
really exciting to experience. What you've played a lot
yeah.
more of it. Where are you at? Is it where if you had to give it a
Uh,
number right now for friend
oh
swap?
man, I don't know. It's a tough game. As a friend slop game, I'd say it's like an 8.5, if not a 9. I have to decide. Since we've only gotten to play together and we haven't like been able to organize a four player squad to go in, I feel like the game will change a little bit. But I will say, as one of these types of games, it is one that I can play by myself. And I actually played for a little while yesterday, just like sneaking into rooms, running from a lot of stuff, and then eventually I would like get a cool hammer and I just beat something to death. And I was excited to like get to do like the breaking down of things that you're supposed to get little wooden pieces to like rebuild stuff at your home,
Mm-hmm.
because I was like, oh, I know where this is going. Like you were saying, there's upgrades, there's items that you can buy. There's even like a little gun that doesn't really shoot very accurately, but if you're just kind of like still when something pops around the corner, you can get off a few shots, and then as it comes around the corner, hit it with a bat and like be good.
Mm-hmm.
What I think the game does, it's pretty interesting, is even if you kill a monster, it will, I think, release. I haven't figured this out. I
Another
think it will
one.
release another monster, yeah, somewhere in the house.
Yeah.
Um, so you're never like at the point where you're like, I'm safe. You're
Yeah.
always like, okay, I killed that thing and I got some gold out of it, but I still need to be careful and then get out of here. Um, so yeah, I'm excited to see that the game keeps getting deeper. I recently got an umbrella as an item, which is sounds crazy, but it allows you to walk on the surface of the planet that the little building is in, and so there's a lot
Oh,
of exploration. Yeah,
very cool. And the umbrella doesn't burn.
the umbrella doesn't burn. I guess it's a very strong umbrella.
Huh. Oh, I wonder if there's more stuff to explore out there in that case. That's interesting.
I think so.
Well, right on. Well, we'll see how this game continues to evolve. I haven't seen it a lot in my social media algorithm, so I don't know if it's trending yet. We'll see if that changes.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into the news for this week. Lots of Helldivers stuff to talk about. Helldivers released their newest update. Most everybody thought that this was just going to be the day that they released their Warhammer 40,000 elite warbond. So that was that's what everyone's been looking forward to. I've been looking forward to it. They've added the bolt gun, they've added a las rifle, they've added the melta gun, you've got Cadian armor and everything like that. So if you're a Warhammer fan, get in there. Also, this specific legendary warbond is 1,500 credits as opposed to being 20 like the other ones have been in the past, unless I'm misremembering that. So, grain of salt there. But the update that came alongside the game is called Devoid of Liberty, and it adds quite a few things into the game. Particularly, there's a big event going on with the Illuminate. This is finally all of the Void stuff coming to a head. So there's several new enemy types that have been added to the Illuminate. A big new mission order that people have to carry out, and then they've also worked and improved Seif, which Seif troopers are the AI troopers that they introduced when you could go to the cities. And now they have structured squads. So, like, there's a squad leader, there's a rifleman, there's a heavy ordnance person in the Seif squad, and then there's a medic in the Seif squad. And so it feels a little bit better. Seif orders have been improved as well. You can also emote with Seif troopers. So, the famous Helldivers hug that everybody does. You can hug Seif troopers now, and it's really actually quite cute.
Pretty
So,
cool. I like that.
I played this a little bit earlier today, but I played on the bug front instead of the Illuminate, so I didn't get to see the Illuminate enemies. Um,
Mm.
but uh, but yeah, very very exciting. I'm glad the game is still going, and I'm glad they pumped out an actual full update instead of it just being a legendary war bond. So very happy about that.
Yeah, I mean, it's what, 2 years out, and this game is still going strong. Very excited to see that. And it's cool to see like Helldivers A crossover with something that thematically works pretty well for it, and
Yes.
B like expand in this dimension. Although it feels like there was a trailer not too long ago for the expansion. It was like this teddy bear getting ripped apart and turned like this eldritch horror.
Yes.
It feels like one additional enemy type that they've added in doesn't live up to that for me. But it's also been 2 years, and the game is like that stuff is still free to access, even if you haven't done the war bonds. So, yeah, really excited to see this and hopefully get some more people like back into the realm to play it. I would like to play it. I just gotta like kind of assemble the crew type of thing. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's been it's really exciting. I want to get my full squad back on, so we'll see if I can make that happen. But
Mhm.
yeah, Helldivers also, Phil, going into our next story right here. Free on
Oh yeah.
PlayStation Plus. What else is free on PlayStation Plus? What's going on with
Well,
PlayStation Plus?
PlayStation Plus is finally getting its act together. Which I'm surprised I didn't say a worse thing, but this is a family podcast, right?
Yes, for the
Uh,
families.
that's for the family. Gather your children together and let me tell them about Vampire Survivors, which is also free on PlayStation Plus. Helldivers 2, of course, just in time for the new update. If you don't have Helldivers 2, this is such like this game is what I always imagined a free to play game would be. So now that it is kind of free to play, if you have PlayStation Plus Extra, excellent.
Yeah.
Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, what a couple of Game of the Year awards, some lower ones last year. Got a lot of nominations. If you are into that, Vampire Survivors Game of the year it came out by a lot of metrics. Hell is Us, which is a cool little Unreal Engine 5 indie that was released this year, sort of like a futuristic Soulsy game.
Mm. Oh
What
yeah,
was
that's
that
right.
game? Yeah, there was that game where like you would break off robots like arms and legs and fight back with I forget what it was called, but it was a Soulsy futuristic game. Now there are two Soulsy futuristic games. Uh, on top of that, Two Point Museum, Metro Exodus, and Dying Light 2 Stay Human. Now, if you have premium, you'll be getting Omnimusha Dawn of Dreams and Disney's Atlantis: The Lost Empire. If you want to go and replay Disney's Atlantis.
Yeah, I don't know about that one, but the rest of those are awesome. This is like the
Yeah.
first impressive PlayStation Plus lineup in forever. I feel like, Xbox Game Pass doing kind of well, a little bit. They've got Phil. Phil's
Yeah.
constantly advocating for them. Maybe we should get our act together a little bit.
Maybe Phil's been really on it. For the longest time, we thought it was just Phil Spencer. So we what is their whole catalog? I just want to look at like some of the bangers that are on there right now because their catalog is pretty good.
It is pretty good. It's littered with their own IPs though. It's littered with the
Yeah.
PlayStation exclusives. If you want to play God of War, if you want to play Ghost of Tsushima, if you want to play Infamous, stuff like that. So like, which is fantastic. Don't get me wrong. But if I'm a
Mhm.
big PlayStation fan, then I've played those games already. And so being a subscriber, like what else am I really getting out of that? So
Yeah.
it's good to see, like, obviously Helldivers 2 is a first party game, but seeing Vampire Survivors be on there with how popular it is, seeing Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 being on there with how well it did review wise last year and the popularity that it garnered last year, like that's fantastic as a way to like headline things. So happy about that.
I mean, their list is pretty good. It's got Red Dead 2. I mean, granted, it's all games that you have likely bought if you have a PlayStation.
Yeah.
But if you have extra and you like got it for Red Dead, and then you're like, oh well, what else is on here? Play Spider-Man 1 and 2, Spider-Man Remastered, Miles Morales, The Last of Us 1 and 2, Cyberpunk, Warhammer. Uh, again, a lot of their own stuff, but Resident Evil: The Village. So,
Right on.
you know,
It's got some things. Got some things.
it's got some stuff.
Yeah, some things. All right. Pressing right along down the PlayStation train. Ghost of Yotei had a big announcement today. They announced the Ghost of Yotei Complete Edition. I'll be honest, I wasn't expecting this, or at least so soon. But it is coming with, obviously includes the full game and everything like that. Includes Legends, which you can download for free if you own Ghost of Yotei, which is the online cooperative mode. But they're adding 2 new things to Ghost of Yotei on top of that. And that is a narrative story campaign similar to what they did with Iki Island in Ghost of Tsushima. And then they're also adding something called Ghost of Yotei Most Wanted, which is a single player survival mode as opposed to a multiplayer survival mode, which is an interesting idea. And I'm not quite sure how I feel about it. Were you surprised with this single player survival mode, Phil? Like, doesn't that seem like a weird mode to include in a game as opposed to the multiplayer? Or
it does and it doesn't, because I think it's one of those things that Sony games have been trying to add in more and more. God of War Ragnarok did this with their roguelike version. And the Last of Us 2 did this with their re-release. They have like a roguelike version there. So I'm happy to see this, because the sword combat and sort of like the survival mechanic of it was one of my favorite things about Ghosts of Yotei. So cool to see that more of that is there, and also some more story. It looks like we're finding like the fight with the snake, which is pretty fun. Is this going to cost me more if it's going to cost $15 to upgrade if you have the original version of the game to get the complete version, which I think is pretty well worth it for 2 new expansions.
Oh yeah, that's that's very reasonable. Yeah.
So exciting times for, if you haven't played Ghost of Yotei, this is the time to play Ghost of Yotei. Get in there.
Absolutely. So for the narrative expansion, it is split between the present day and flashbacks to Atsu's time on the mainland. You'll meet Nagato, a figure from Atsu's past who has arrived in Ezo. In the present, you'll explore a previously unseen valley once inhabited by the Snake and his gang of loyal followers, the Vipers. In the past, you'll also experience Atsu's time in the Battle of Sekigahara, sorry if I'm saying that wrong, and a key moment in her life before she returned home. So it seems like a prequel kind of ish.
Yeah.
And then for the Most Wanted survival game mode, it's their spin on a roguelike. You'll accept bounties in order to start new runs. We're taking down enemies. It will earn you perks as well as unlock additional characters as to play as. So that's kind of interesting, as opposed to just playing as Atsu. We'll have much more to show you, but you can see the trailer today. And it also looks like there's new weapons. I saw a hammer in there. So I was like, we're running out of buttons. I don't know where they're going to put the hammer button.
Hey, guess where? Not where you think.
Okay. But yeah, I am a 1000% in on this. And it's going to be coming out in October, I want to say, right? October 1st. So that's
October 1st, yeah.
Not right around the corner, but not far away either. So that's
I don't know if I've put this on the show before, but this is my my pitch for those folks over there at the. Sorry, I'm trying to see who made Ghost of Yotei. I don't remember. Is it
Sucker Punch?
Sony Sucker Punch. Sucker Punch. Yeah. Make an Avatar game, guys.
Yes, please.
Paul, can you go talk to them?
I'll go.
Just hold up a sign.
I'll go bother them.
I have an idea.
Also, pay me money for the idea. That isn't original.
Yeah, also pay me. I'm just trying to connect you with Nickelodeon now, but then you guys pay me some money, please.
Yes.
But yes, okay. Should we move along to... Wait, the next bit isn't PlayStation news, and it's kind of exciting. And then we got more PlayStation news.
All right, let's talk about the last PlayStation news then. You do this one, Phil.
Yeah.
This one's quick and easy.
Well, there's going to be a Wolverine version of PS5 coming out, a DualSense controller coming out, and it looks so good. It's yellow and black, which obviously goes together well already. It is, I believe, the digital version of the console, because, of course, but it is a PlayStation Pro, and it looks so cool. It's got like Wolverine claw marks in it in black. And I very much want the controller. If I Oh, actually, there's one in silver as well,
Yeah,
which is
there
cool,
is one in
'cause I bet
silver.
that means
I mean, I love the
the
claw
Silver
marks
Samurai's in the game.
where you can see the fan of the PlayStation. Like, that's absolutely incredible. I absolutely love that. Oh my god.
That's really sick. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
So
extra ventilation. Let's get it.
and another spot where dust can get to now.
Hooray!
But
It'll break
I
down
think this-
twice as fast.
I think it looks sick. Like, obviously golden glaze colors, so I'm biased. But like, this is the best. Maybe the Ghost of Yotei PS5 was as cool with like the I forgot what it's called, but it's the Japanese art of like fixing things with like gold.
I think it's Katsugi art is what it's called.
That sounds correct, but I am not sure exactly. But yeah, this is like one of the best looking ones. I love the color scheme. I'm really pumped for this game. I didn't think I would be getting a PlayStation for it, but now I have to think about that. So
it looks like you could just get the console cover if you have the digital version or the Pro, which is a little. Well, I guess the digital version and the regular one would have the same covers.
I don't know. Is there
so there's a digital version that's like a little bit shorter, and the PlayStation 5 Pro has like a taller part with like 3 lines in it. So yeah, that's super sick. It's always tough because like PlayStations are not things that I typically display. Like mine is under my desk next to my computer.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's like I've heard the thing of you don't want to actually stand your PlayStation 5 up because like the heat or whatever, something will start leaking down, and so you want it to be horizontal, even though they advertise it standing up all the time, which is I hope maybe they fix that on the newer PlayStations. Maybe that's not the case. Maybe I need to look into that actually. So
well, so this is available August 19th, so 1 week from our recording day today.
Yes.
And I believe I had the prices just here. Let me pull those back up. It is going to be $649.99 US for the PlayStation 5 Digital Edition. That's just the regular PlayStation 5 Digital Edition. It's at $650. It's crazy. The DualSense is $84.99.
God.
And again, like, you know, these things are expensive. And it looks like the PlayStation 5 Pro just has console covers. I don't know if you can get the actual console. But
okay. All right. Well, I don't know. We'll see if I end up buying that. Let's press on to some non-PlayStation news, sort of. And that is Asper Media shadow dropped a new legacy edition of the 2011 Lord of the Rings game, War in the North. And apparently it won't be the last Lord of the Rings re-release from Asper, as the company has confirmed even more classic releases from Lord of the Rings series are confirmed for the future. That's all Asper had to say. So it's anyone's guess as to what the other classic Lord of the Rings games could be. But I wanted to kind of go back and forth and see if there's any Lord of the Rings games that you remember back in the day that you would like a re-release for.
Lord of the Rings 2 Towers.
Yeah? Now Return of the King, 2 Towers?
2 Towers was the best what? I don't know. I don't think I played Return of the King. I remember as a kid watching Return of the King and being like, they were running out of money for some of these effects. And then being like, when is this movie going to end? And thinking that 8 times. But
wow. Sound like a hater.
a little bit of spite for Lord of the Rings. Okay, there's just a scene where Legolas is like, he kills an Oliphant and like rides down his trunk, and I was like, what do you do? Like, this has been one of the most beautiful spectacles of film I've ever seen, and is the most CG looking nonsense I'd witnessed at that young moment in my life.
Oh, come on, man. That was 2003. It looked amazing for 2003.
But
looks
in
better than the Flash
2002
movie.
they had these. In 2002, they had these really cool moments that didn't take me out of the movie.
Well, they also pumped 3 movies out in 3 years, back to back to back.
No one asked them to do that. They could have taken the time.
Oh, you're right. Can't win.
Peter Jackson put this on himself.
All right, so wrong question for Phil. Not a Lord of the Rings fan. Very surprising, as nerdy as you are, not a Lord of the Rings fan. That's crazy to hear.
Listen, I like Lord of the Rings. It's just that movie was like, just cook a little more, you guys. Actually, I rewatched them all recently. They hold up so well. They hold up so well.
Totally backtracking. Okay. So War in the North has already been released. I actually think that Lord of the Rings War in the North is not a good game, to be honest. I played the game back when it came out, or I think I bought it off of a Steam sale actually a couple years after it came out. It's very okay. It's about these three made-up characters who Gandalf kind of helps periodically, an elf, a dwarf, and a man. And it's like a action game where you can switch in between the different characters, but it's not like a turn-based or tactics game or anything like that. So I actually wasn't crazy about the game. So this was kind of surprising to see this one be the first classic re-release. But as far as if they are going to do more re-releases like this, you know me, it's like, I'd love to see Lord of the Rings Battle for Middle-earth get re-released. There's been huge like fan support, and there's like so many different modded versions of it that you can play. So I would love to get that RTS back in the cycle. And then I also did really like Lord of the Rings Two Towers, but Lord of the Rings Return of the King, the video game, was amazing for me when I was a kid, and being able to like replay through all the levels and play as whatever character you wanted. And then there were secret characters that you could unlock. I remember you could unlock Merry and Pippin, and you can unlock Faramir and stuff like that. So I would love to see those games make a comeback. Also, Lord of the Rings, The Third Age was a turn-based RPG, very Final Fantasy leaning game that I actually had a lot of fun with. So I'd love to see that as well. But I'm really curious as to why they're doing these re-releases. It could just be a simple cash grab, but it could also be what I like to think a lot of the time, which is a market test to see, if we want to make a future Lord of the Rings game, we kind of want to move on from Shadow of Mordor, as good as those games were. What are some other Lord of the Rings IPs we could try to get into now that Warner Brothers is ready to pony up money?
I mean, here's the thing. They just made 2 Lord of the Rings games and they were awful. They made the Hobbit cozy game and they made the Mines of Moria game. And both of those could have had so much promise.
And don't forget
but
Gollum.
It seems like they just...
Don't forget Gollum, the video game.
You're right. There's 3 terrible
games.
games.
Was that a 1 out of 10 on IGN, or was it a 2 out of 10 on IGN? I'd never seen something like something that low. That's crazy.
It is. No, I think there's something to do with that franchise. I mean, what's crazy is obviously Harry Potter is depends on the people. It's got like political stances around it, but that game, like a full AAA game with a lot of attention in detail, and like you could tell people who liked the series made that game, was it printed gangbusters amounts of money. If you did the same thing for Lord of the Rings, you would get so much out of it. It's just, I guess, finding the right story. I will say Lord of the Rings fans are a lot like Star Wars fans, where nothing is ever good if it's not exactly the original thing.
No, I don't agree.
What?
I don't agree. I'm a huge Lord of the Rings fan. I don't hate the Amazon TV show. I will not advocate that it's good. I will not say that. But I don't think it's as, under the circumstances that it was made under, I don't think it's as bad as people want it to be.
Were you just happy to get more Lord of the Rings? Because I was.
Yeah, I mean, I wanted something, and honestly, it's Warner Brothers' fault. And I think this is also something that you and I understand, because we know how production works, and we know how things get greenlit, and we think there's this all-powerful, superior plan that's going to happen, and there's not. It's a bunch of people trying to make deals and make money. And I just feel like Warner Brothers should have done their own show instead of being like, okay, Amazon, you can have this tiny little section of the appendices and you can make a show based on that. And it's kind of like like with the Sony and Disney crap, where it's like, okay, you can't say adamantium, you have to say vibranium because we didn't sign that over technically. And so you have to do this stupid little justification for everything. And so I think this is a product of Warner Brothers not committing to their own product and just wanting to sell and license something. And so if the product isn't perfect, I'm not going to blame the people who made the show because the product isn't perfect. So,
well, I think also it's partially the Tolkien estate and Warner Brothers trying to like be very specific about what they allow out. It is tough to say because like I think again you could watch Lord of the Rings movies. You can also try to watch the Hobbit movies, but I wouldn't.
Yeah.
But
yeah, not gonna argue about that one.
See, all right, we got one that we can all agree.
Okay.
But I mean, like, it's tough because I think Shadow of Mordor was like a really fun game that not necessarily added to the lore, but was an interesting story in the Lord of the Rings world to like expand on and play in. And it does seem like that is that. I'm not saying that it didn't do well. I think even amongst like audiences that aren't specifically Lord of the Rings fans, it did well. But I think a lot of companies look at like audiences that are a little persnickety and like, which can be like love of a fan base, but also can turn to like, well, we're not going to try and blow money on this, which I feel like is kind of the same thing we're seeing with Star Wars right now, where Disney is pulling back. Same thing with Marvel. They're pulling back on their TV stuff, which is probably the right move. But it's because too much of a good thing or the wrong version of a good thing that you hold very dear can be upsetting to people. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, speaking of Star Wars, let's get into our main topic, which is Star Wars Zero Company. Over the last couple of days, many journalists, including the major news websites, have gotten access to play Star Wars Zero Company, and they've gotten a lot of time with it. And so we got several deep dives. IGN posted a deep dive that I think was almost like 15 minutes long. So we got to see a lot of what you're allowed to do. People are kind of calling it a mix mash between XCOM, Marvel's Midnight Suns, which you know I love, and Mass Effect, which is really interesting. And one thing I wasn't quite sure about was that in this game, you do get like primary companions that are like story companions, and they add to the story and everything like that, but those companions can still die. So it's not just like the custom companions that like can die. So that's awesome. So that's the permadeath is on, but there is a setting, if you hate playing that way, there is a setting where you can turn the permadeath off. So for people who don't like that, but just lots of different things. The graphics look absolutely incredible. There seem to be several different ways that you can play. It sounds like the game is challenging, but not impossible, which is something that I really liked about Marvel's Midnight Suns. Is I felt a lot of the time this tactical level or this setting or something like that, it was just a puzzle that I kind of had to figure out, as opposed to, oh, I grinded out all this RNG so that my guy can have the best gun and blah, 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 blah. And it's like, no, this is more about how do you tactically approach this? There is a way to win. You just have to figure out what is that way to win. So I have been in the past more excited for Star Wars Galactic Racer, but after watching all of the content that they've put out over the last 2 days, I'm really excited for this game. And now the question is, do I get it on a computer or do I get it on a console? And that's the only doubt, because I'm going to buy this puppy. I am good to go.
Oh, yeah.
Did you see some of the new footage, Phil? What were your impressions, if you did?
I've only gotten to watch I got to watch some of the video on like my 10-minute break at work. And so I was just like watching it and not really getting to listen too much of it. However, the fact that it seems to have as much, I don't know, have a similar level of depth as XCOM 2 is cool. I've in the meantime gotten to read some of the impressions, like the one by PC Gamer, saying that it's not going to knock XCOM off of its throne if you are a big like strategy turn-based player. And here's the thing: I don't know if I am personally, or if I just like the way that XCOM played. Like the things that made it exciting are things that I'm still excited about in this game, like recruiting new characters, permadeath, how your team like handles defeat and loss and all that stuff. That is one thing about Midnight Suns that like I feel like I lost a little bit, where I was like, oh well, this character will be down and they'll be back in a couple minutes. It's fine.
Yeah.
Um,
No permadeath.
but
Spider-Man's
yeah,
not going to die in Midnight Suns.
Spider-Man sadly will not die in Midnight Suns, no matter how much I try to put him in front of demons. Um, also, if we could avoid the weird like storyline stuff, which I thought was fun, but also I don't love the self-insert character being like, I'm best friends with Spider-Man and Wolverine, and Blade's my best man.
I bought Captain Marvel a cake. She really likes me now.
It's if it were cool, we would date, but the game says no.
Yeah, it was like a relationship game with no romance. It was very weird. So I did not like that element about the game. But the tactical stuff, when you're actually playing the regular gameplay, is what I really liked.
Those missions are great. That's what keeps pulling you forward.
Yeah. But also, I wasn't aware of this, but apparently the main character is customizable. So you can change their race and gender. And so they have a different male and female voice that you can do for the character. And then, you can edit more, like give them scars or change their haircuts or whatever. But I thought that the main character was like a set character that you had to play as. And I do think that, it's kind of a little bit like Geralt, where it's like, well, they still have the same voice and they still make the same decisions, but you can customize them and make them look how you want. And it's not permanent to the start of the game. So if you change your mind, you're like, actually, I want to be a Rhodian. I don't know if that's an available race, but I can play as that instead. And that's something I like about modern RPGs, where they just let you change. Because I always have that regret of, he doesn't look how I want him to look. It looked cooler in the creator than it did in the actual game.
The lighting in the game is not kind to my boy.
Yeah.
I mean, I would love it if you could play as a Rhodian and he just went around going McClunky, and like that was his special move before he shot somebody.
I mean, I'm sure you can make a guy like that. So there are Rhodians in the game. I know that much. I don't know if the main character can be one. I think they have to be humanoid-esque a little bit.
Based on the footage I've seen in the past, it looks like you can work with different people in Mandalorian armor. So if there's a possibility to make myself Mandalorian to convert, that's what I'm doing this game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it's the move.
I love it. I absolutely love it. And I want as much Mandalorian stuff as I can. So I also think this is a good era. I like doing the Clone Wars. Let's get out of this post episode 6 era elusiveness where we can't decide what the universe is right now. So it's like, this is something set in stone. We get to kill droids. It's okay for the kiddos.
I mean, it's cool because there's also like nondescript Jedi you can work with.
Yes.
And it's like, oh yeah, Jedi can die in this because they're not essential to the story moving forward.
Yes.
Which is excellent.
But in part of the demo that they did show off, Phil, you can have Anakin Skywalker on your team. So that was very exciting. So it's the kind of thing where it's like, for this mission, Anakin's there and he is under your control.
If I kill him, do I save the universe?
Oh man, I wish the game kept going and you could see all that pan out. So I wonder if other heroes will make an appearance. I mean, obviously in that era, Obi-Wan could be in the game somewhere, Mace Windu, all of the big Jedi, because you're in the Clone Wars, could be there. And then, do
you think there'll be a Jar Jar escort mission?
Wow, I really can't decide whether I want that or not. Because I kind of want it just to spite Jar Jar haters so much. But I don't love Jar Jar either. I just think like he's an easy out to be like, Phantom Menace sucked. Like,
oh no, he's not the worst thing about Phantom Menace by any means.
He's not responsible for that movie not being great.
And he does suck. but
he doesn't help in any way. But
yeah, he's at worst neutral in that movie.
Also, George Lucas wrote those lines. Like, I don't know what you wanted the actor to do with them.
George Lucas, much like Quentin Tarantino, writing stuff that you're like, maybe that's not cool.
Yeah. So
Misa don't like that.
Remind me, Phil, does this game come out on August 27th? I want to say.
I believe it is the 27th, but let me just take a quick look. Star Wars Zero Company launching on August 27th.
And then does it have an Ultimate Edition? Or I'm sure that it does. But this is a full price game.
It is actually a $49.99 game, so $50 game.
Yes.
There is a deluxe edition for $60. Let me just see what that comes with.
Yes.
Crystalline Astromech cosmetic pack. That's actually just a pre-order bonus.
Okay.
A Grand Army of the Republic cosmetic pack, Shadow Collective cosmetic pack, and then 5 exclusive painted weapon themes.
Okay.
So
cosmetics. But I mean,
cosmetics.
I mean, like $50, $10 more for $60 for cosmetics. That's pretty good. Like, I figured with the Star Wars license that they were just going to be like $70 and then $80 for the cosmetics or something like that. So I'm happy to see that they resisted the urge to be Rockstar, and
to fall to the dark side.
Yes, or whatnot. So. All right. Well, that's cool. I'm super excited about it. It's going to be a day one purchase for me.
Same.
And then, next month we got Wolverine. And this is a little extra story right here. Dawn of War 4 has been delayed today. For fans of the Warhammer 40,000 Dawn of War series. Yes, unfortunately, it has been delayed. It was going to come out right after Wolverine, I want to say, like on September 15th. But now it is not coming until December 5th of this year. So that kind of sucks. At least Wolverine's coming out to get me across that gap. So yeah.
Are they just getting closer to Grand Theft Auto? Is that what the
Dawn of War or what?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they're going to December, so they're skipping over Grand Theft Auto.
They're skipping. Okay, great.
Yeah,
good.
September to December.
Okay, I see.
Yes.
Well, I have a little last minute news story to add as well that I just saw IGN break. Hogwarts Legacy 2 is officially in the works. Confirms. Wow, it's officially in the works. Confirms Warner Brothers. So the second installment for their game is going forward. I think in an an earnings report, they said they expected the second installment of the game to contribute meaningfully to the future revenue of the company. So,
yeah. That's cool. I like, me, I'm a huge advocate for Hogwarts Legacy as far as as far as a video game. Obviously, I know people have their reservations about J.K. Rowling. I do myself as well. I'm trying to separate that from it. I'm a little concerned that because of the success Hogwarts Legacy 1 had, that Hogwarts Legacy 2 will be riddled with microtransactions. So I'm
Quite
a little
possibly,
worried in that direction. If Warner Brothers is like, this is going to be our big cash cow, and $70 isn't enough. We need people coming back for more purchases. So
also, I think the Paramount buyout will have happened by then. So
okay. Yeah.
I think it even worse. Even other bad people will be getting money from this game. So that's fun. That's a fun. What a great world we live in.
So positive around here for episode 130.
Star Wars Galactic Racer is going to be sick.
It
Nothing can stop me from enjoying that.
Yeah. Both. I mean, Star Wars games are back, so that's all I'm happy about. And apparently, Lord of the Rings games are getting re-released. So I felt very targeted earlier when you were like Star Wars fans and Lord of the Rings fans, and I was like, they're just talking about me. So
listen, fans of everything. I play a lot of Magic the Gathering. Magic the Gathering fans are some of the worst people I know. Give me money, Wizards of the Coast. One more thing for Star Wars. More thing for Star Wars. They just announced a collaboration with Wizards of the Coast to release basically a D&D book of Star Wars stuff. So there is a Star Wars tabletop RPG, but this is,
wow.
I feel like, going to be the
Official.
most accessible version of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right on. I am so in. I am 100,000% in on that. Let's go. More nerdy stuff. I love it. Keep me going. All right. Well, that is going to do it for episode 130 for the GGG podcast. Thank you for listening, guys. We really appreciate it. If you haven't already liked and subscribed to our YouTube channel, please do so. And if you're listening to the audio only version on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, follow us over there as well. We would appreciate it as well. Yeah, we'll be back next week. These are the dog days though. Like, I feel like we got some good, at least PlayStation news came out this week that was good. I want to bring up Gears of War E-Day beta, open beta. You don't have to be subscribed to anything or pay anything. Open beta is this weekend. I think it's August 13th to August 17th. So get on that if you're at all interested in Gears of War. I know I am. So it's not all PlayStation news, I guess. But yeah, gonna be some dog days until we hit the end of the month where we can play Star Wars Zero Company, and then a week later we get Wolverine. So I'm excited for those two guys.
Yeah, we're getting there. We're gonna make it. We just gotta hold strong, Paul.
Hold strong
and play the million other wonderful games that are out.
Yes, exactly. We got to play more Grain Rot. So, all right. Peace out, everybody, and we will see you next week.
Adios.
Boop.